Thanks.
Were you a big fan of Doctor Who before you went to audition, or was it just sort of, another act?
No, I actually wasn't. I didn't really watch it. I know you'd be shocked to hear that. But it's one of those things that's like a British, and also in Britain it's very mainstream. And I don't know, especially the series before this, it's kind of very shiny and very, bright. Brilliant TV with like proper kind of sit down Saturday night TV. But it's on a Saturday night, and I'm an actor, so generally I work on Saturday nights in the theatre. But I was very aware of it, and you can't avoid it in Britain, growing up. But I've become a fan since I've been doing it, and it wasn't really on when I was a kid, and my parents were really into it. But it's funny, since I started doing it, lots of my friends who I didn't know, like the show at all, and suddenly we all loved the entire history of Doctor Who. I'm like, brilliant! There's quite a big percentage of my friends who are massive Who fans. So yes, but I think in a way, as an actor going into the show, it's quite dangerous to be a big fan of something before you go in it, because I think the pressure would just make you explode. So in a way, I was quite pleased for that, and I've been discovering it as I've been going along. It's good I don't hate it, isn't it? That'd be awful.
And back over here.
The Children Need Special Time and Space was absolutely brilliant. Should we expect something similar to that for the next question?
I don't know, actually. We do these little things. I don't know if we've filmed any extra bits yet. Yeah, Stephen's always bringing kind of little fun things on us. And I think that was meant to be, did everyone see that, the Children in Need Space and Time thing? Yeah? That was just meant to be a DVD extra thing. And then Richard Curtis, who runs Children in Need, phoned Stephen, right at the busiest point where we were filming, saying, can you record something for Children in Need? And he was like, yeah, no problem. We haven't really got time. Do you want to use these? And luckily they were good and funny. And it was really good actually, because the director of those, it was one of the first things that he directed. He was desperate to direct the Doctor Who, and he'd been working in editing before that. And so they gave him those, small things that were going to just be a DVD extra to film. And he did such a brilliant job that he ended up directing Next Door Hitler. So that was quite a good audition for him.
Are there any Doctor Who monsters or enemies that you would like to see in, the next series or film?
Yeah, I think the Cybermen should be in almost every episode, because I'm really like it. What monsters? I think the stuff that Stephen's created, I'd love to see some more Weeping Angels stuff. But I think there's always a nice balance, which I like about kind of what Stephen's doing, is that they manage to balance a lot of old stuff and stuff that people, having the Sunny Roos come back and kind of having things that mean stuff to people, and then introducing brand new things as well. And I think he's very good at that. So I'm quite excited to see what his mind comes up with next, because you never really know with him.
And on a side note, Rory has turned into one of the few real male companions that has worked in the show's history. I mean, there are very few of the guys that people don't laugh at these days. I'll start with Adric. How does it feel to know that you sort of setting a pace as an icon of sorts for the show, that you had nothing to do with it?
I don't know, I don't really think about it, to be perfectly honest. I just kind of go into my job and try and make it believable, so it's not really, I think if you start, as an actor, if you start thinking, like if Matt suddenly started thinking, right, I'm the Doctor, I've got so much pressure on my head, I've got to serve it for all the fans out there, I think you wouldn't do a very good job. I think you kind of just have to take every episode and every script as it comes, and if you start kind of overthinking kind of the pressure of it, then I don't think you'd act it, because you've just got to believe every situation that you're in and do it. So yeah, I tend not to think about these things.
Right.
Do you think they should bring Captain Jack back?
I'm sure John would love to come back at some point. I don't know, maybe they should. The thing is about Doctor Who, what I love about it is even if people die, even if people seem to have disappeared or transported into another world forever, or buried underground and covered in mud, that they can always pop back up, because it's about time travel and crazy things can happen. So I think they should do I've come up with a brilliant episode. Right? I think they should have an episode with all the companions that have ever been and just put them all in therapy. Because they've all obviously been quite disturbed with their travels with the Doctor.
And then
So Rory has a tendency to die a lot.
Don't we all?
I was just wondering what your favorite Rory death scene was.
Well, my favourite death, I really like the, I think I said this yesterday, I'm trying to think of all the deaths I've had, I can't quite remember them. I think the one in the Dream Lord episode was quite good, just because I didn't know what it was going to look like, and then I watched the TV and I was dissolving into sand, which was quite fun. Yeah, so that one was quite good, and also being killed by an orbital, I think is a good way to meditate and go. He needs to die. I think, like, if Rory died, eventually, I think it'd be great if he was wrestled to death by a bear. So he died in a big hug, a big, painful hug. That's that's just how I want to die. You could choose your own death.
Chris.
So there have been, every once in a while, celebrity guest stars appear in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Who would be on your short list of people you would love to see be a guest star?
Oh wow, dead or alive, or just alive?
Your choice.
Okay, right. Who would be on my list? Okay, right, I've had Wes Anderson direct an episode. That would be fun. I'd quite like, right, I'm going dead or alive. Most of these will be dead. I'd like to do an episode with Gene Wilder. That'd be quite good. Who else? Right, this is great. Peter Sellers, I'd love to have done an episode, but obviously he can't. He's not available. Anyway, I know all my favourite actors have gone. So I think Peter Sellers would have made a great Doctor actually.
Oh, cool. I can say I love Edmund, and I was wondering if you guys if you guys are still making music.
No, God no.
It's
so funny that people, I was listening, this one was playing earlier on, it took me out a bit, but it's really funny that, obviously you guys have found all this music I made when I was like, I don't know, just left school. I do still make music. I write a lot of stuff for theatre, and I am starting a new band at some point. Well, I've started writing stuff for that. But me and my friend Remy, who's a girl, she sings, and we're both going to sing, maybe, I don't know. Edmund was what I was doing when I was living in Birmingham, and it was me and a few mates that got together and played stuff, and never really did anything that serious with it. And we haven't played. We're also in touch, and we all like each other, but everyone lives in different places, and it doesn't. I don't think we were that good. We were actually that good, but I am going to be making some more music soon, which will be better, I hope. But it's hard to balance the time. Because last year, you probably weren't. There's a guy in. Did anyone know a band called American Music Club? Yeah? No, right. It's a really indie American band. This guy Mark Ansel, who's a genius. And I played with him, played piano for him quite a bit. And then there's a band in the UK called the Guillemots, who, if you haven't listened to, you should definitely listen to. And I played guitar on the lead singer's solo album on his tour last year before. So I try and do as much as possible, but it's quite tricky having busy schedules, and record companies aren't really that willing to give you time to go to a series of Doctor Who, so it's tough.
What would be the role that you would want, your dream role that you have not had so far?
Oh wow, there's loads. I've got a list of them in my notebook. I don't know. I mean, I just want to do a variety of stuff. I quite like to think that I'm quite versatile. I don't know. Doing Mephistopheles was on my list of things in Faustus, and that was really far away from. I just want every job to be different from the last. And there's silly jobs. I'd love to be in a Muppet movie, but that would be stupid. But yeah, there's loads of plays that I want to do. I want to do The Crucible. I'd love to, at some point, do like Richard III Bird or Iago in Shakespeare. Yeah, there's a list as long as a very